What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again for another Manchester City transfer update. Before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing daily Manchester City transfer updates from June 1st to keep you guys up to date with what's going to be a really busy summer for Manchester City. So if you haven't already, do subscribe. It's free. Social media links are in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video. We're aiming for 300 likes, and do get your thoughts as well in the comments below. So we're going to start off first with some contract news, and we've got the very latest on Nico O'Reilly. And Fabrizio Romano has said that Manchester City are talking with Nico O'Reilly over a new contract, with these talks believed to be progressing, and Manchester City feel that a new deal could be sorted soon. That's according to Fabrizio Romano, who did put a side-eye emoji in there, so putting a bit of emphasis on soon, but it would be great to get Nico O'Reilly onto a new deal. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that it will include a new salary increase, with Nico O'Reilly working his way up the pay scale when it comes to players at Manchester City, which is fully deserved, and hopefully we can get that sorted sooner rather than later. Now, moving on to the out, we've got the latest on Kyle Walker, and Gazetto Dello Sport over in Italy have changed their mind since we last spoke about Kyle Walker. They said that Kyle Walker now is wanted by AC Milan, and they do want to sign him on a permanent deal. Now, Calcio Mercato has said that AC Milan don't want to spend €5 million, which is their purchase option from that loan, but are happy to spend a couple of €1 to make that deal happen. Now, last week, the sources in Italy were saying that AC Milan didn't want Kyle Walker, and sources in England were saying that they did want to try and sign Kyle Walker, and Italian sources are now saying that they do want to sign Kyle Walker, but do want to try and negotiate that price. And to be honest, I'm now awaiting English sources to say that AC Milan are no longer interested. I love transfers. Next, we've got an update on James McAtee, and the Mail have said that Bayer Leverkusen met with Manchester City a couple of weeks ago in Manchester to discuss James McAtee. Now, Bayer Leverkusen remain keen to make a move for McAtee this summer. Manchester City's asking price is believed to be set at what it was during the January transfer window at £20 to £25 million. He will have 12 months left on his contract this June. Manchester City do want to try and get James McAtee onto a new deal. Pep Guardiola wants him to stay, but it's looking like, I would suggest, more likely that McAtee leaves Manchester City this summer rather than him staying and signing a new deal. Now, Pep Guardiola has said more than once publicly that he wants McAtee to stay. He says that he's an academy lad. Manchester City knows him. He knows Manchester City, and he says it's all about mins and starts between now and the end of the season to try and convince McAtee to try and stay at Manchester City, as we saw in last night's game against Aston Villa, McAtee starting that game. So we will see. As I've stated previously, there's no interest here for Manchester City to let McAtee run down his contract. It's a very simple equation and a big decision for James to make in the off-season. I do hope that he stays, but the decision has to be stay and sign a new deal, or he leaves the club. Now, Florian Plettenberg in Germany has said that direct contact has now been made by Bayer Leverkusen to try and sign McAtee this summer. McAtee wants more playing time. He believes that Leverkusen is the club for him. Leverkusen want that transfer, and Leverkusen are confident that a deal can be struck to make this transfer happen. City stands still. They want to try and keep hold of James. Pep wants him to stay. James apparently wanting to leave the club and join Bayer Leverkusen, who look like they're going to win that race to sign McAtee in the summer if he decides to leave. We're just waiting for that decision to come, and I imagine that decision will be made before the Club World Cup. So we will see what does happen with regards to that. Remember, as McAtee is a homegrown player by the club, it will take Manchester City to promote an academy player or a player who's homegrown by the club who's currently out on loan to take his place in the Manchester City first team squad. Now, moving on to Kevin De Bruyne, and latest on him, and Fabrizio Romano has said that Chicago Fire have approached Kevin De Bruyne to try and sign him. De Bruyne assessing his offers, assessing what's been offered to him by Chicago Fire, and Chicago Fire are showing a lot of interest, very serious about signing Kevin De Bruyne, and Kevin De Bruyne is contemplating that offer. Now, The Athletic have said that Chicago Fire, Inter Miami, DC United and New York City Football Club have all begun talks with Kevin De Bruyne to try and sign him this summer for free. It would be brilliant if we could keep hold of Kevin De Bruyne in the City Football Group and New York City end up signing Kevin De Bruyne. We'll have to see where he does end up. Inter Miami, very serious about signing him as well. David Beckham already been in contact with Kevin De Bruyne when it comes to that transfer. Chicago Fire showing a lot of interest. DC United's name's out there. It's looking like it's going to be the USA that he's going to end up, although Kevin De Bruyne has been hinting about potentially staying in Europe and playing in one of the top European leagues because he feels like he's still got a lot to offer, and he was surprised that City haven't offered him a new deal, and this is suggesting to me that City taking this transitional period that we're going through very seriously heading into this summer. Now, moving on to the penultimate transfer of the hours, we've got the latest on Ilkay Gundogan, and Florian Plettenberg in Germany has said that Ilkay Gundogan's got lots of big offers available to him this summer, but as it stands, he doesn't want to and doesn't plan to leave Manchester City this summer. He's already triggered his contract extension, so his contract isn't up until June of 2026. He could still leave Manchester City, but it will take Manchester City to ask Ilkay Gundogan to leave, and that could still happen, but as it stands right now, we haven't asked Gundogan to leave, and it's expected that he will stay. I'm going to put a lot of emphasis on that's the stance right now. At the end of April. Now, moving on, we've got the final update in the outs on Bernardo Silva, and Sacha Tavolieri has said that Manchester City have asked Bernardo Silva to leave the club. Going back to what I was saying before about Gundogan and asking him to leave, City have apparently asked Bernardo Silva to find a new club despite him having another year left on his Manchester City contract. Manchester City want him to leave. They're aware of interest coming in from Portugal. Bernardo Silva's got 1 year left on his City deal, and George Mendes, his agent, Bernardo Silva's agent that is planning to hold talks with Bernardo Silva over the coming days to weeks, and his agent's believed to be planning to hold talks with Benfica over in Portugal to tie up loose ends. Benfica looking like the club that Bernardo Silva will end up at if he does leave Manchester City this summer. Tavolieri said that in terms of the terms, they won't be a problem, but Benfica not willing to go near the £50 million release clause, and to be honest, I don't really expect them to go near £50 million for the release clause. We're looking here at a 31-year-old player with 1 year left on his deal. Realistically, City will be looking for a good number, but it won't be as high of a number as what you'd expect for a player as good as what Bernardo Silva is. But when a player gets north of 30 and they've got 1 year left on your contract, you don't really have too much negotiation powers when it comes to sorting out a permanent transfer. Now, Bernardo Silva doesn't want to move to Saudi Arabia. He would like a move to Spain. He's interested in a move to Barcelona, who can't afford Bernardo Silva due to their finances. Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid aren't believed to be interested in Bernardo Silva, so it's looking like Portugal will be the option, and him returning home with Benfica interested in making that transfer happen. Now, moving on to the ins. Firstly, we're going to start with a no-go. Takes us on to an update on Désiré Doué over at Paris Saint-Germain. Now, the 19-year-old French forward was of interest to Manchester City, but Doue has apparently already made a decision of what he wants to do in the summer. His plan is he doesn't want to leave PSG. He wants to sign a new contract there. He wants a new contract that reflects his importance to Paris Saint-Germain, and that deal is currently being worked on, which would be a contract until 2030. So as far as I'm concerned, Désiré Doué a no-go for Manchester City, but is the kind of name that you want to see City being linked with. Now, moving on, we've got the latest on a new name for this summer, but not a new name to Man City transfer updates, Lucas Paqueta. Now, I am aware of unconfirmed reports coming in from West Ham saying Manchester City want to reignite their interest in Lucas Paqueta from West Ham, and he is expected this summer to be cleared of his gambling accusations. He will be 28 years old in August. He's Brazilian, scored 4 goals with no assists in 28 Premier League games, under contract at West Ham until 2027. West Ham fans are confident that if he does leave, that they can still get a good amount for him, believed to be looking at around £40 million. I'll be honest, I feel like the Lucas Paqueta to Manchester City ship has already sailed, and I'd be surprised if City do reignite their interest in Lucas Paqueta. Now, moving on, we've got the latest on Morgan Gibbs-White, and Jack Gaughan has said that Manchester City is seen as front runners when it comes to signing the 25-year-old English attacking midfielder from Nottingham Forest this summer. Nottingham Forest are asking for £100 million. Manchester United, Manchester City and Liverpool all interested, with Manchester City showing the most interest. So Morgan Gibbs-White will be a story that I'll keep my eyes on, and it is something that I'm expecting to develop over the summer transfer window. I'm not suggesting that City will be signing Morgan Gibbs-White, but is a player of interest to the club, and apparently incoming sporting director Hugo Viana very keen on Morgan Gibbs-White. And Manchester City, with quite a few homegrown players leaving, will need to bring in homegrown players. So I imagine a lot here comes down to, do City think Morgan Gibbs-White would be a good fit for the club, and if they do, can they negotiate a good deal? Because I can't see City going towards £100 million for him. Anyway, moving on, we've got the latest on Florian Wirtz, a soon-to-be 22-year-old attacking midfielder from Germany, plays for Bayer Leverkusen, if you didn't know. Anyway, Bild over in Germany have said that Pep Guardiola has spoken to Florian Wirtz's camp and explained how Wirtz would fit in to the system at the club, and how Florian Wirtz can help Manchester City to replace the outgoing Kevin De Bruyne. Now, Florian Wirtz's dad wants him to stay in Germany. He wants him to join Bayern Munich this summer. Manchester City showing a lot of interest. They're prepared to pay the asking price of €150 million, which is £128.5 million, which is the asking price set by Bayer Leverkusen. Manchester City prepared to offer Florian Wirtz a whopping £25 million a year contract, which works out at £480,000 a week before tax, which is an incredible number. Now, Kicker in Germany in the last, 24 hours or so have said that Florian Wirtz is impressed by the lengths that Manchester City and Pep Guardiola are going to try and sign him this summer, and have left it at that. It's as simple and as interesting as that. And I feel like this is the first time that we've seen a bit of a tease that Florian Wirtz not only of interest in Manchester City, but Wirtz is interested in Manchester City as well. So we'll watch that space. Again, not suggesting he's going to sign for Manchester City, but certainly a player of interest as we head into the summer transfer window, and something I'll be keeping my eyes and ears on, most definitely. Now, moving on to the final transfer of this transfer update, I want to speak about Andrea Cambiaso. Now, Tuttosport in Italy have said that Manchester City remain keen on closing a deal quickly this summer after coming close to signing him during the winter transfer window. Juventus are believed to be wanting around 60 to 70 million euros, so we're looking at a deal worth around 51 to 60 million pounds. Manchester City apparently already have their contract prepared to try and bring in Cambiaso. Remember, Cambiaso, a left back at Juventus, 25 years old, very versatile because he can play left back, right back and through into midfield as well. Manchester City prepared to offer him a contract worth €5 million a year, which is £4.3 million, which works out a contract worth £83,000 a week, which is very much when we bring in a new player in the summer, ready for the first team. Unless you're a huge big name or an attacking player like your Erling Haaland and your Florian Wirtz, you tend to start on the beginning parts of the wage structure, which is very much where Andrea Cambiaso is, and he'd work his way up the pay scale with new contracts. So there we go, that has been today's transfer update. I will have another transfer update out tomorrow with all the latest over the last 24 hours, and I've purposefully left out speaking about Diogo Costa. I'm well aware of the links. I'll speak more about that in tomorrow's update, because I'm hoping we're going to get some more details about the goalkeeper, so I can keep you guys up to date with that. But that's something I really want to get my teeth into, and I didn't want to get a mix-up between speaking about Diogo Costa and going down the Florian Wirtz route. I feel like they're two separate videos that deserve their own videos in themselves, so that's why I've structured it this way. So I'll definitely be back in 24 hours time with a huge update on Diogo Costa and all the latest happenings over the last 24 hours, so do stay tuned for that. Do subscribe to my channel, it is free. Also, don't forget social media links, they're in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video, 300 likes is the aim, and do get your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you tomorrow for that big update on Diogo Costa. So I've been JSGC, thank you everyone for watching, hope everyone is safe and well, peace, ciao for now.